Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely fortunate to be joined today by Canadian treasure, because that's how I see you.
Okay.
The wonderful Chantal Kreviazuk. We are hours away from your concert here at the NAC in Ottawa. Welcome to Ottawa.
Thank you, Keith.
How are things?
Great, and I'm really honored to meet you too.
Yeah,
because you're a treasure as well to me, and so I'm happy to be.
Well, I appreciate that. Of course, you're crossing the country in promotion of your new album, Hard Sail. How's the tour been so far?
Love it. Love it. I'm finally away from my children, who are driving me crazy. And as I joke on stage, every mother deserves a tour.
Okay, fair.
Every mother gets a tour. That's my new. If I was president of the world, every mother will get a tour.
Okay, well, I would definitely second that.
All right.
You have a phenomenal collection of hits. I think we're coming up on 20 years or so, and I remember the first time seeing you in the Wayne video, and I just thought this was such a
weird girl.
Well, I thought it was such a strong and powerful song, and even years later, it's still fantastic. When you're putting together, well, you're very welcome. When you're putting together a set list, because you've got such a wide array of great songs, how do you come up with what are going to be the chosen ones? Because obviously you want some songs from the new album, and you want some of the old stuff.
Well, I think that there are simply going to be songs that if I don't play them, I'm very much going to upset people.
Okay.
So there's a couple songs that they're happening no matter what, and I think we know what those songs are.
Yeah.
I don't have to name names.
Time. Sorry, who said that?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Feels like home.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple, and then and a few of them I wouldn't not want to. So there's that balance, right? Like there's ones that I just have to play every set because I'm so grateful that those songs poured through me and they're in my life, and it's so awesome. And then new songs are it's tough. It has been it was actually this album. It was hard. It's been hard to decide what not to play, because I really like this album now. I've been writing songs since my last album almost every day for other artists too. So my game got elevated, and so I feel like I was probably an outlier as a piano player, a bit of an outlier as a singer maybe, or a recording artist, but as a writer, I really put in 10,000 hours, and in the past many years. And so being able to go back and put a collection of songs together, I had a bit of a schmorg, to pick from. So I'm very pleased with the outcome of my album, and I want to play all the songs. They're all very cathartic. They all came from that guttural place. And so I was so excited by the idea of performing them live. They're all songs that want to be performed live. And so I kind of play a lot of the album.
Well, it's a great album.
Thank you.
In addition to the songs that have already been released, I was going to say one of my favorite songs that hasn't been released yet is Lost. I love the intro on that song, and the other songs as well. I was seeing an interview the other day. We were talking about how just on the way to your son's basketball game, you're able to develop songs. So the writing process that you go through really fascinates me. Can you touch on that?
Well, I will say that we don't always get to choose when song ideas and feelings come over us. When you just lock on a feeling, it's like a discovery moment. It's like a self-realization moment. And for me, when I have that moment of expansion or deep self, sympathy for self or compassion for myself, that's usually what will spawn. Or by the way, or compassion for someone else. Fair. But but insofar as how it relates with expanding, in particular when I can be almost like self-indulgent. As we grow older, the expectation is that we serve. Once I think that I equate maturity with being selfless. Okay. And when we're little, it's all about us. And then we grow, we develop, and we realize, okay, I'm not the center of the universe, and our life does very much become about service in one way or another throughout the day. And so when we have those moments to reflect and to sort of honor our own process, I really feel that that's when songs come for me. Okay. And I buy those moments of reflection. I buy them, and I know I'm not going to want a refund. I know I got to capture that when it comes in. I listen to it. I pay attention to it, and I don't think we all get to. That's why I always encourage people. You have to have an outlet. You have to have a way that you get it out, that you do indulge yourself, you know, in a way that's healthy. And for me, that's songwriting. And now, coupled with the fact that I've had more practice, I can sort of take those emotions and that development in my humanity, and I can now write better,
Okay.
you know, more efficiently, and I can push the envelope more on that craft side. And it really does boil down to practice. Like not unlike, you know, a lot of people are freaked out the first time they go to a therapist. But by the time they've gone to a therapist 100 times, they're not nervous at all because they've practiced it and they know it's nothing to be scared of, and it'll be something that helps them, and it's the same thing.
Okay. Kind of, I guess, on the same wavelength as giving back. Obviously, your career has shifted in the sense that you do a lot of songwriting for other artists.
Right.
And I think that affords you more time with your family.
Well, that was the idea.
Yeah, and one of the wonderful quotes that you said, and I would be paraphrasing slightly, is,
Uh-huh.
"I want to spend time with my kids. That's why I had them." So,
Right.
which
Yeah,
you know,
otherwise why?
Yeah, such a novel concept.
Right.
So, do you prefer? And I also want to say, I kind of look at you as the Mr. Miyagi in a sense of music, in the sense of you go and you work with other artists, and I know a lot's been made of the fact that you work with artists like Kendrick Lamar and
Right.
Drake and all these other wonderful
Why
artists.
are you only naming the black artists? I'm just saying.
Well, there's a lot of wonderful white artists as well. Kelly Clarkson and Pink.
Oh, okay.
Although you could say that Pink might be
She's
more
black.
on my side.
She's a bit black.
We're gonna take, but you know
She's a
what
bit
though?
black.
I'm gonna extend some of that over to you too, because you got soul, Chantal.
Thank
So
you.
so my question is, do you prefer at this point writing more so for others, or do you still enjoy the process for yourself also?
You know, it's funny. It is mom me when I'm writing for other people.
Okay.
It's very interesting how it's like the idea was so that I would stay in one city for longer, you know,
Okay.
and that I might make it home for dinner or be home for dinner, or you know, I maybe make it to basketball pickup, but my husband did dinner and drop off or whatever. Like I'm there. I'm in the city, so I'm putting them to bed, or I'm driving them to school, or whatever it is. And so, but the funny thing is that it also made me more of just like a mom lady in general.
Right.
So when I go into a writing session, I do feel a little bit like kind of like more like mentor, like caregiver. I want to, and I've always felt, even when I wasn't a mom, I've been a somewhat maternal person and a nurturing person to those in my life, and I think that this is a feeling of service that we have, because I'm trying to capture the energy
Okay.
of the other artist, and that is the practice at hand. You know, I don't want to go in. I've got a couple things I've got to do when I'm writing for another artist. I don't need to write them something that they already wrote or had a hit on, which is one of the things that the traps that we fall into.
Okay.
Artists, their record companies, their team, they always want the artist to go to the next place.
Mhm.
It has to be something somewhat unexpected that their fans hear on the radio next. So there's that. But then we also want to honor the artist. So you have to listen, you have to pay attention. There's a sensitivity to that job, to that role. And I do think that being a mom, because that's what moms do. I mean, we're sensitive. I have 3 kids. They're all from different planets. I have to be sensitive to each one's needs. They're incredibly different. And then that's what we do when we go into a writing session, is we pay attention and sort of have a passion for that person's unique energy.
Okay. One of the things I absolutely love about you is your live performances. Your music is amazing. I listen to it on repeat.
Thank you.
I love your music, but I love seeing you perform live, regardless of whether you're coming here to Ottawa.
Right.
If unfortunately Ottawa doesn't make the schedule, if you're going to Toronto, guess what? Jumping in the car and heading there. And I think the reason is, actually I shouldn't say I think, I know the reason is, you see a lot of artists who have good music, but when they come and they perform, it's, hey, it's great to be in insert name of city here, Ottawa. Whereas with yourself, you make such a phenomenal connection with your audience. So
that's something I can't explain. Like, I've always felt like when I sit down at the piano, I play the piano to save my life. I think it might just be there might be something like in my Eastern European, like, Stalin fearing genes or something. I don't know. There's some trauma in my DNA, but I sit down at the piano like it's going to save my life. And once I feel that way, I'm in it.
Okay.
I'm in it. And so even like days where I'm like, oh God, and I may even be saying, what city am I in? And here we go. But the moment I sit down, it's like I've got to find it within myself, that whatever that je ne sais quoi thing is, is it authenticity? But it's essentially what you said. It's like it's connection. Mm-hmm. And that is how I see my job. And so I just don't call it in, And I don't think it's fun for me. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'd rather put in the extra effort and dig deep and make sure that genuine connection is there, than feel like crap doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I enjoy it more.
Well,
yeah.
We enjoy it too, so thank you. Please keep that up.
Okay.
Wonderful wife and mother. I know this by the way that you talk about your family, which is
God.
wonderful. Singer, songwriter, musician, but also philanthropist.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot to give back.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind talking a little bit about your work with War Child?
No, I wouldn't mind at all. What War Child was able to do was really kick the development of I think self-awareness into high gear for me at a very young age, because I got my record deal when I was 22, but I mean brain development isn't even done until I was 21 actually. Brain development isn't even finished till 25, some say 27, and the last thing to come in is rationale. Okay, so it's not a great time to be giving people the key to the city, like it's probably a bad idea. So I feel like War Child has been every ounce as important to me in my development as a human being as it was for me to be a champion for them. Being able to sort of spread my wings and realize that my global citizenship or my good citizenship could spread, if you will, far beyond my own neighborhood or my own city or my own country even was really, really important. I'm blessed that I grew up in a city like Winnipeg. I went to a wonderful, wonderful school and got a fine education, a private girls' school. But all the girls in my class were not white. They were not, they were from, many countries and many religions. Winnipeg, they send everybody to Winnipeg. They send everybody there after their people have been persecuted and slaughtered. My people, the Ukrainian side included. And then of course I'm Métis on my mom's side, so I grew up, my mom's side of the family was a visible minority. And so I had a lot of exposure. Two of my best girlfriends are Muslim. 3 of my best girlfriends are Jewish. We had girls from Mexico, we had girls from Japan. One of my best girlfriends is Filipino, and I went over to her house my whole life, and her grandmother, we called Ina, we had to speak Tagalog in order to communicate with her because she never learned English, she was too old. And we were taught language at my school. So as soon as Dr. Samantha Nutt from War Child, appeared before me, I felt as though I had an opportunity that I had been prepared for my whole life, to convey my deep conviction and passion for people. And people for me doesn't mean one type of person. It doesn't mean just women or men, or it doesn't mean just people who look like me or sound like me or talk like me or believe the same things as me. So I think that it was such a gift when Dr. Sam Nutt said to me, what is your idea of how did she put it? She said, what is your idea of community, or what is your idea of what's your neighborhood look like? And I was like, and she said, did you know your neighborhood is like, really it's the whole planet, and we're looking at we have programs in this war-torn country, and we're expanding to this country as well, and that country. And I was like, I'm really not happy about this whole Iraq thing. I go, what happened to those people? Do we have a program there? And she was like, we're planning to do a program there, and there's only been 7 French NGOs in Iraq in the past several years during sanctions since the first Gulf War, and I was like, yeah, I want to go there. I want to know what's going on there. And she said, okay. Then I told my husband, who was, I think, was he my boyfriend then, or were we even married? I said, I'm going. He was like, no, you're not. You're not going there. And then I called him back, and I was like, well, I think I am. And so if you don't like it, that's okay, but I'm going to tell you, you could come too. And then he said, okay, well, I'll come. And maybe he felt like if he came, I would be safer or something, I don't know. But it was just a very wonderful traverse for me from childhood into what my adulthood could and would look like. And I'm very, very, very grateful.
I'm glad that you got involved with it and
I
brought
am
it to our
so
attention.
happy. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Juno winner. We've talked about the many accolades. Order of Canada recipient, honorary doctorate from the University of Winnipeg.
And another one, New York, Niagara, something like that.
So many it's hard to keep track of.
You know what I just received was my fellowship this year. I'm the 2016 fellowship doctorate? No, degree, fellowship degree for the Royal Conservatory of Music, which I love because I'm such a passionate conservatory music girl, but I didn't do my grade 10 or my ARCTs.
Okay.
So
some might say with your life work you might have got the extra credit now.
yeah, now I have the extra credit, and it's like on an actual certificate. It's so cool.
Is there something out there that you still want to accomplish? I kind of look at you and I think to myself, well, what haven't you done? But there might be another goal.
You know,
that
I
might
just,
reach
yeah, I
towards.
do have more goals. I mean, I just want to go deeper into what words look like. I want to push and push and push and have words be so undeniably poetic and also cutting and deep and meaningful. Because I want to grow up with my audience, you know what I mean? And, you know, obviously with Leonard Cohen's passing, we see the power of thoughtful words. I mean, he took 5 years to write Hallelujah. I'm lucky if I take more than 5 minutes to write a song. I mean, I don't have time. So, and he talks about, you know, in his most recent interviews, he talks about how when you're trying to raise kids and keep your finances straight and just provide and all that good stuff, you're not given the luxury of time, you know? So I think what will be kind of glorious for me is to have time, and maybe no one will be paying attention anymore, I don't know, but I'm really excited to have a longer time to contemplate my words.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that I look forward to continuing on this journey with you because I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
I want to play a little game with you called Rapid Fire.
Let's do it, baby.
I'm going to ask you some questions. Chantal Kreviazuk, have I discussed these questions with you? Do you know what I'm about to ask you?
No.
All right, you ready to have some fun?
I'm scared.
Don't be.
Scared,
You're with your visible minority friends. So I want to ask you, the first question I have for you is, so I'm a huge movie guy. I love movies.
I love movies.
What is the last, we're already BFFs, what is the last movie that you saw in the theater?
Oh, in the theater.
In the theater.
Oh, it's crap. It's like something really dumb that I saw with my kids, and it's you know, okay, but the last movie I saw, we're in the digital era now, and
Fair.
it was a new release, so
Okay.
I can use this one
Okay, use
because
this
I
one.
really enjoyed
I'm not going
it.
to say no to you, okay?
Okay, we're gonna tweak the rules a little
Okay,
bit.
yeah.
Okay, it was LBJ.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's fantastic. If you
Okay.
haven't seen Bryan Cranston as LBJ yet, you should.
Okay.
It's such a great depiction of history.
Okay, excellent. Let's be honest, let's put our cards on the table here. You have an amazing last name. Your last name, it's fantastic. It stands out.
Okay.
When you got married to Rain, was there ever any talk of him
Never.
taking your last name?
Oh, yeah, I call him Mr. Kreviazuk often.
Yeah, okay.
And it comes up too, because like at the hotels under my name or something,
Yeah.
they'll call him that somewhere.
Okay.
I love it. I think it's fun.
Would the two of you consider doing a duet album?
We have a band now called Moon vs. Sun,
Okay.
and we are actually starting to record it in January.
Wow, asking the children.
Yeah. It's really nice too.
This is not a question, just a comment. I just want to take a moment and say the two of you are very cool, and I don't look at the two of you as a celebrity couple, just a couple that happen to be celebrities.
Oh, okay.
And it was just
I mean,
funny.
I don't think of myself as a celebrity. So.
Yeah, so there you go.
Sometimes I don't think of us as a couple. Kidding.
I'm a huge CFL fan.
Okay.
I know your hometown's Winnipeg. Do you follow the Bombers?
Not lately.
Okay.
Not lately. And we are raising the boys in the States. So we watch some NFL football, usually a little bit more in the playoffs.
Okay.
But we're actually a basketball family.
Okay.
Hardcore.
Chantal, it's
Hardcore.
being BFFs, like you just jumped into my head, because my next question was, I know that your sons play basketball.
Yes.
Do you practice with them? Does
Oh, yeah, we
Chantal,
do.
does Chantal K have a sweet jump shot?
Yeah, we do family basketball.
Okay.
And they always like lower the net.
Okay.
So when they were little, I used to love, dunking and making them think I was, bigger than life. But now, especially now, well, actually now I couldn't take any of them on.
Okay.
They're all very skilled, and
Okay.
it's laughable now.
It is? Okay.
And usually when I go hard, I do end up wrenching a hand, and I do end up fingers wrecked for a month.
Yeah.
And I've broken this one so many times. Yeah, it's true. The swelling's
Those are
actually
piano
good.
hands, so you have to be careful.
I know. I can no longer completely shut this fist, but that's being a boy mom.
When is the last time Chantal Kreviazuk got nervous about something? For me, it was 15 minutes ago walking in the store, but for you...
Probably more like if I'm like in a fight with my mom or my
Okay.
husband. Those are the things that make my heart pound, or like a confrontation with somebody that's where, I suffer.
Okay.
But not really so much with like the things you would think anymore. I don't
Okay.
really get nervous about much. Every once in a while, if I know someone is in the audience, I can be a little strong. But I have to, my rule, and I always try to tell people if I'm ever talking to people about how to present themselves or do a speech or anything, the first thing you have to do, all nerves mean is you're going in someone else's head.
Okay.
If you're not in someone else's head, or trying to be, you won't be nervous.
Okay.
If you're actually staying in your own makeup, potential, what you know to be true, within your skill set, within the capacity of who you are, there's no reason to be nervous about anything.
Okay.
So it's only if you go in someone else's head. So every time I get nerves, I'm like, why am I thinking about how they're perceiving whatever,
I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it works.
What is your favorite comfort food? For myself, chocolate almonds.
Chocolate almonds
That'd
sound
be for
great.
myself.
That's
What would
how
be
I'd probably go, if I could really get my way, I'd do a chocolate covered macadamia nut.
Okay.
But that's just comparing with what your favorite is.
Yeah.
Comfort food for me, I'd probably go with like a fettuccine carbonara or linguine pomodoro, like probably more into a pasta sphere.
Like jumping into a meal.
Yeah, well, for women, comfort food. I mean, you know what though? I could put back a bag of chips if they're around, so I have to be very careful with that. But I'm mostly pretty healthy, and I know my limitations, because foods always really affect my health. Like
Okay.
I can feel them in my face, I can feel them in my singing voice. So I don't indulge
Okay.
very often.
When I walked in the door, I want you to be honest with me. When I walked in the door and you first saw me, did you even for a moment think to yourself, "Oh my God, it's a younger Denzel Washington"?
How did you know that's what I was thinking?
A lot of people feel that way, Chantal. I'm just
Yeah.
letting you know. I know that you're a big fan of yoga. I have never tried yoga in a classroom setting. I'll be honest, I find it intimidating.
Okay.
Do you think it's something I should give a try?
Well, I think you should do a class privately first.
Okay. And that would probably be something I'd be more
Because if you're
comfortable with.
competitive at all, which I assume you've been an athlete at some
Yeah.
point and you're competitive, the problem with yoga is that a lot of people want to paint this thing of like, oh, it just stretches you and it feels so good and it's so spiritual. I think at a certain age, you can mess some crap up. So you'd be better to invest maybe the first couple classes and have somebody really walk you through the proper way to not only do a pose, but to get into a pose. For me, the place I always end up injuring myself isn't in the pose itself. It's usually moving from one pose to another. That's my advice, Keith. I'm not an expert, but that's my feeling.
Well, I'm listening to you. So listen,
Okay.
being as we're buddies here, I have some gifts for you.
No, Keith.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
So So let me show you what I've got here. I know that you like shortcakes, so I went to a bakery here in Ottawa.
What? Shortcake?
Yeah.
Shortcake.
What, like shortbread cookies.
Shortbread
sorry.
cookies are my
Sorry.
favorite.
I said shortcake?
How'd you know the shortbread cookie was my favorite?
Well, I saw an interview that you did, and you talked about how
Oh
much
yeah,
you love
shortbread
them.
cookie
I
is
said
the
shortcake, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Shortbread cookie is
Short-
my favorite. Were you trying to fatten me up? What's
No, not at
going
all.
on?
I am rolling out the red carpet
Okay.
for Canadian royalty is what I'm doing.
Okay. Keith, how are your seats for tonight? The ones you got, because I'm gonna make sure you have very good seats tonight, Keith.
I'm in a good place. I'm second row.
All right.
I'm second row. Looking
Okay, I'm
forward to
just
it.
making sure, Keith, because we
Yeah.
gotta take good care of you, because you got me.
Yeah, so we got a good assortment in there. So hopefully there's something in there that you like.
Oh boy.
You know what goes really good with that though? How about tea?
Yeah. Tea.
So we got you some tea here. So hopefully there's something in there that you like.
That's
I'm not a tea
beautiful.
connoisseur, but
I love tea.
the people told me that tea's very, very good. This tea's very good, I should say.
I love tea. Wow. So there's a lot of spice in here, which I love. I love this. I'm gonna be making one right now. Oh my gosh. A ginger, a chai, and a lemon. Oh, this is fantastic.
Excellent.
Very sweet.
And the last thing.
Oh my gosh,
and
stop.
The last thing here, there's a card in here you can read after, but the last thing is, I want to share with you.
I love chocolate.
I want to share with you. This is my favorite book. It's Cain and Abel by Jeffrey Archer. This is one of those things that I've only given out to a couple of people in my life, and I wanted to give it to you to share something. I mean, these are things that you really love. This is something that I really love, and hopefully you get some time, you have an opportunity to read it, and you enjoy it as much as I do.
And it's 30 years old.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for taking the time to
my
meet with me
pleasure.
today.
Easy peasy. If
Easy
only
peasy?
If only they could all be so wonderful.
Well, I appreciate that. So looking forward to your show tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to Ottawa and gracing us with your gift. And I wish you all the best in the future. Her name is Chantal Kreviazuk. If you have not had the pleasure of hearing her music, then I want to know who had captured you for the last few years. But please go out, support her, check her out. She is amazing. My name is Keith. This is Chantal. And thanks so much for checking this out. Bye.